Hildebert had little cause to credit the youths. Son and brother, she lost them both on the battlefield. She bereft and blameless, they foredoomed, cut down and spear-gored. She, the woman, in shock, waylaid by grief. Hoke's daughter, how could she not lament her fate? When morning came and the light broke on her murdered dears. And so, farewell, delight on the earth. War carried away Finn's troop of thanes, all but a few. How then could Finn hold the line or fight on to the end with Hengist? How save the rump of his force from that enemy chief? So a truce was offered as follows. First, separate quarters to be cleared for the Danes. Hall and throne to be shared with the Frisians. Then, second, every day, at the dole out of gifts, Finn, son of Folkwald, should honor the Danes, bestow with an even hand to Hengist, and Hengist's men the wrought gold rings. Bounty to match the measure he gave his own Frisians, to keep morale in the beer hall high. Both sides then sealed their agreement. With oaths to Hengist, Finn swore openly, solemnly, that the battle survivors would be guaranteed honor and status. No infringement by word or deed, no provocation would be permitted. Their own ring-giver, after all, was dead and gone. They were leaderless, enforced allegiance to his murderer. So if any Frisian stirred up bad blood with insinuations or taunts about this, the blade of the sword would arbitrate it. A funeral pyre was then prepared, effulgent gold brought out from the hoard. The pride and prince of the Shieldings lay awaiting the flame. Everywhere there were blood-plastered coats of mail. The pyre was heaped with boar-shaped helmets forged in gold, with the gashed corpses of well-born Danes. Many had fallen. Then Hildebert ordered her own son's body be burnt with an efts, the flesh on his bones to sputter and blaze beside his uncle's. The woman wailed and sang keens. The warrior went up. Carcass flame swirled and fumed. They stood round the burial mound and howled as heads melted. Crusted gashes spattered and ran bloody matter. The glutton element flamed and consumed the dead of both sides. Their great days were gone.
Warriors scattered to homes and forts over Friesland, fewer now, feeling loss of friends. Hengist stayed, lived out that whole resentful, blood-sullen winter with Finn, homesick and helpless. No ring-whirled prow could up then and away on the sea. Wind and water raged with storms. Wave and shingle were shackled in ice, until another year appeared in the yard as it does to this day, the seasons constant, the wonder of light coming over us. Then winter was gone. Earth's lap grew lovely. Longing woke in the cooped-up exile for a voyage home, but more for vengeance, some way of bringing things to a head. His sword arm hunkered to greet the Jutes, so he did not balk once, hopefully. Placed on his lap dazzled the duel, the best sword of all, whose edges Jutes knew only too well. Thus blood was spilled, the gallant Finn slain in his home after Gulflough and Offlough, back from their voyage made old accusation. The brutal ambush, the fate they had suffered, all blamed Finn. The wildness in them had to brim over. The hall ran red with blood of enemies. Finn was cut down, the queen brought away, and everything the shieldings could find inside Finn's walls, the Frisian king's gold collars and gemstones, swept off to the ship. Over sea lanes then, back to Daneland, the warrior troop bore that lady home.
The poem was over. The poet had performed. A pleasant murmur started on the benches. Stewards did the rounds with wine in splendid jugs, and Wealhtheow came to sit in her gold crown between two good men, uncle and nephew, each one of whom still trusted the other. And the forthright Unferth, admired by all for his mind and courage, although under a cloud for killing his brothers, reclined near the king. The queen spoke. "Enjoy this drink, my most generous lord. Raise up your goblet. Entertain the Geats duly and gently. Discourse with them. Be open-handed, happy, and fond. Relish their company, but recollect as well all of the boons that have been bestowed on you. The bright court of Heorot has been cleansed, and now the word is that you want to adopt this warrior as a son. So, while you may, bask in your fortune, and then bequeath kingdom and nation to your kith and king before your decease. I am certain of Roluf. He is noble and will use the young ones well. He will not let you down. Should you die before him, he will treat our children truly and fairly. He will honor, I am sure, our two sons, repay them in kind when he recollects all the good things we gave him once, the favor and respect he found in his childhood." She turned then to the bench where her boys sat, Hrethric and Horthmund with other noble sons. Beowulf the Geat sat between the brothers. The cup was carried to him, kind words spoken in welcome, and a wealth of wrought gold graciously bestowed. 2 arm bangles, a mail shirt and rings, and the most resplendent torque of gold I ever heard tell of anywhere on earth or under heaven. There was no hoard like it since Hama snatched the Brosding's neck chain and bore it away with its gems and settings to its shining fort, away from Rithtic's wiles and hatred, and thereby ensured his eternal reward. Jelek the Geat, grandson of Swerting, wore this neck ring on his last raid. At bay under his banner, he defended the booty, treasure he had won. Fate swept him away because of his proud need to provoke a feud with the Frisians. He fell beneath his shield in the same gem-crusted kingly gear he had worn when he crossed the frothing wave-vat. So the dead king fell into Frankish hands. They took his breastmail, also his neck-torque, and punier warriors plundered the slain. When the carnage ended, Geat corpses covered the field. Applause filled the hall. Then Wealhtheow pronounced in the presence of the company, "Take delight in this torque, dear Beowulf. Wear it for luck, and wear also this mail from our people's armory. May you prosper in them. Be acclaimed for strength, for kindly guidance to these 2 boys, and your bounty will be sure. You have won renown. You are known to all men far and near, now and forever. Your sway is wide as the wind's home and the sea around cliffs. And so, my prince, I wish you a lifetime's luck and blessings to enjoy this treasure. Treat my sons with tender care, be strong and kind. Here each comrade is true to the other, loyal to lord, loving in spirit. The thanes have one purpose, the people are ready, having drunk and pledged, the ranks do as I bid."
She moved then to her place. Men were drinking wine at that rare feast. How could they know fate, the grim shape of things to come, the threat looming over many things as night approached and King Hrothgar prepared to retire to his quarters. Retainers in great numbers were posted on guard, as so often in the past. Benches were pushed back, bedding gear and bolsters spread across the floor, and one man lay down to his rest, already marked for death. At their heads they placed their polished timber battle shields, and on the bench above them each man's kit was kept to hand: a towering war helmet, webbed mail shirt, and great shafted spear. It was their habit always and everywhere to be ready for action, at home or in the camp, in whatever case and at whatever time the need arose, to rally round their Lord. They were a right people. They went to sleep, and one paid dearly for his night's ease, as had happened to them often, ever since Grendel occupied the Gold Hall, committing evil until the end came, death after his crimes. Then it became clear, obvious to everyone, once the fight was over, that an avenger lurked and was still alive, grimly biding time. Grendel's mother, monstrous hell bride, brooded on her wrongs. She had been forced down into fearful waters, the cold depths, after Cain had killed his father's son, felled his own brother with the sword. Branded an outlaw, marked by having murdered, he moved into the wilds, shunned company and joy, and from Cain there sprang misbegotten spirits, among them Grendel, the banished and accursed, due to come to grips with that watcher and Heorot, waiting to do battle. The monster wrenched and wrestled with him, but Beowulf was mindful on his mighty strength, the wondrous gifts God had showered on him. He relied for help on the Lord of all, on his care and favor. He overcame the foe, brought down the hell brute, broken and bowed, outcast from all sweetness, the enemy of mankind, made for his death den. But now his mother had sallied forth on a savage journey, grief-racked and ravenous, desperate for revenge.